Hello, everybody. We're here live on YouTube. That's right. After the holidays, I'm sure everyone had a fun holiday couple days. Normally, normally I start off saying what I've been up to, but today is a very special episode because it also is Nicole's last episode as a host here
Yeah,
on Totally Toonular.
it's true. It's so sad, but it's been such a great experience. So thank you to everyone that's listening.
You
That's been a
know,
part of it.
usually when they say it's a very special episode, it's because, what is it? Arnold Drummond's getting fingered at the back of the bike shop. So I'm just very happy that this is a much better experience than that.
You had to go different strokes on this, didn't you?
Someone got fingered. Was it Freddie?
No, Arnold Drummond.
Okay, I don't get the reference.
Nicole's not 500 years old like we are.
It is
Grow up
quite
with
possibly.
I know
most-
Freddie got fingered, and that's the amount of fingering I know about.
That's the amount of
And,
fingering you need to know.
And
Somebody
Joshua.
needs to know about poor little Arnold Drummond. Or what was the little boy? What was his friend in the bike shop? The friend in the bike shop is the one that
Oh God, yeah.
bless
'Cause-
his heart.
Yeah,
That was
there were a couple of them. No, Nicole, arguably it's just an old sitcom reference, and all I'm saying is that it's a much happier experience when they say a very special episode. Being able to celebrate a friend as opposed to two little boys getting raped in the back of a bike
no.
shop.
Yeah,
this is a
back
much
when
better
we were
experience.
kids.
Oh, what the
when they
hell?
would-
This is really dark. This is really
They'd
dark.
show these reruns and they'd be like, this is a very special episode of Different
Oh, no.
Strokes. And it would be like a PSA about somebody got caught with pot or somebody got assaulted by a bike store
Jesus
owner. And
Christ.
then
Yeah, what an
instant-
escalation.
Yeah.
You get caught with pot, and then the next episode you get molested.
This week
Yeah,
on a
things
very
just
special
escalate.
episode of Totally Tunular,
Things
we
escalate
celebrate our
way too
friend.
quickly on different strokes. It sounds like.
But Nicole,
Wow.
It's not how the 80s were. A very special episode now means something entirely different.
well,
It means
today
it's
Thank
actually
goodness.
it
Thank
is
goodness.
different because Nicole, you are leaving, and it's very sad.
Right.
You're not
right.
here since literally since day one.
Yeah.
So it's sad to see you go. It really does. You're
Oh, well,
part of the
that's-
crew.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It is really sad to go. Everyone, I don't know, pray or think of me as I try to pursue a new career and make more money. And again,
You're
don't tell
gonna kill
my
it.
and again, don't tell my boss. But yeah, thank you.
You're gonna kill it.
Thanks. Thank you very much. That's really my next adventure is learning to code. So hopefully that pays out. I'll miss you guys a lot.
Well,
You'll be able
the chair's here always, just like Leo. Even though Leo
Thank
doesn't
you.
say nothing.
It's been so great. Can't believe when we started this show, I was living in Los Angeles and it was 2021 lockdown. Very just
Yeah,
been
different
a
worlds.
long time for doing this
Yeah.
show.
We've literally been on a journey. It's kind of crazy.
Yes. So yeah, no, the show has been really cool. The people I've met because of the show has been awesome. So I'm really thankful for that too. It's definitely a bummer. But I'll be in the chat and everything, bothering you guys.
Well, looks like we got Dwayne Steeler in the chat.
Always,
Hi, Dwayne.
always. Whiplash Maniac says that we're going to miss you, Nicole, and he ain't even playing. That's truth.
Thank you so much, Dwayne. I'll miss you too.
Well,
But hope to see you in person, Dwayne, at some point for.
for
yeah.
all the stuff.
Saying there's an event I think that's going to happen eventually. I guess you'll talk about it eventually on the show. I won't spoil it here.
And also Dwayne too. If you're ever around, that guy sells art all around Brooklyn. So you got to pop in sometime.
That's true. I'm in New York now, so Dwayne, I'll see you at one of your art venues for sure.
So what? But either way, how was the holidays? How was Christmas? Did you do anything fun?
Me in particular, I just spent time on Long Island with the family. James and I are from Long Island. Went back there, went to we were talking about Huntington Village last week and the pretty, Christmas tree and stuff, and I went there. So since then, I went there and walked around the village. It was very, very cute. They decorated it very nicely. It looks like the North Pole.
I've only ever really been around the village wasted. I couldn't tell you if I ever
Yeah.
taken a sober just stroll through Huntington Village to
Yeah.
check out the
For those who
trees.
don't really know, yeah, Huntington Village is like a big kind of party area of Long Island.
It's
I
the
guess,
only
like, from,
bars
like-
by me. Where I'm from, we don't have any bars at all. So you have to go out to Huntington Village, which is like 15-minute, 20-minute. No, it's about a 15-minute drive from my mom's house. So that's where we would just go every weekend and just literally get blackout drunk.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of fights, lots of good times. But yeah, Nicole, sounds
Yeah.
like, so Huntington was great.
I went. Yeah, it's funny. I went there. I didn't get drunk, but I it was wholesome. I just chilled with my parents when we got
I mean, there
dinner.
are other
We-
things to do there. There are
Yeah.
nice restaurants people like to go to, and
Yeah.
obviously the Christmas tree people like to look at. In the Paramount, the theater that's there,
Yeah.
the venue. But
Yeah,
I've only ever gotten drunk at Huntington.
Yeah, so it was cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think I guess it was kind of like just chill and nice. It was cool. Just like hung out with my family. Can't complain on Long Island. So it was nice.
I mean, I
It's
can
a lot
always
of
complain
Italian
about
food.
Long Island, but
Ooh. What do Italians eat for Christmas? Anything actually Italian and cool?
It's funny. I mean, like historically, I think the tradition is like a 7 fishes thing. We don't do that, but I think that's a very Italian Christmas Eve thing. Is like a 7 fishes tradition. What do we eat? I mean, just like there's always like something with sauce. Like stuffed shells
ooh,
Yum.
or yeah. Trying to think what else. Like there's been eggplant in the past, stuff like that.
Well, what'd you have this
Um,
year? What'd you guys
Shrimp
enjoy?
We had shrimp fra diavolo. We had salmon, shells, veal, chicken franchise. I think that was everything. Yeah.
That sounds
so just-
amazing.
yeah, that
Yeah, it
sounds
was really
like a
good.
great Christmas
It was really
dinner.
good. Shout out to my mom and my aunt. They cooked everything. So thank you guys. They did a good job. Shout out to them out there.
No, yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
it was-
I've
was
had
cool,
one
yeah, good
Italian Christmas, and it was probably the best food I ever ate.
Mm. Nice.
It was also one of
Yeah,
the loudest
it's really good.
dinners I've ever been at in my life. Like it was.
What? Say again?
I said it was also one of the loudest like dinners I've ever been to
Oh,
in my
yeah.
life. Like I felt like people were screaming at me
Yeah.
for like the entire time.
That's definitely how it is. I always feel like my family's so my grandma passed away a couple weeks ago, and at the wake. Thank you, but sorry, that's not the reason I brought it up to be sad. The wake was incredibly loud just because everyone was talking, and one person turned to us and was like, we're all Italians, this is the loudest fucking wake on planet Earth. This is a party because we're all just talking so loud. So yeah, I feel like my family feels bigger than it is because we're all so loud and talk very loudly to one another, endearingly, of course.
Well, it sounds like a fun Christmas.
Yeah, it was cool. Thank you. Yeah.
I did nothing. So the what was it the 21st? I was with Dwayne Steeler actually. We were filming a movie, but it was overnight, and we're by the water, so it was literally fucking 22 degrees outside, and I was already kind of sick before that, and then I literally and also I'm a fucking idiot, and I bundled up the top half of myself, 5 layers. But then I decided I'm just gonna wear skinny jeans and Vans for the lower half of my body. And so I literally couldn't my muscles were so tense because they're so cold. I couldn't move my legs. And I was standing the whole time,
No.
being the sound guy. So I'm I had to waddle when I walked because I couldn't straighten out my legs. But it was so fucking cold that I wake up the next morning and I just felt like shit, and I've been sick for the past 4 days since.
Oh damn.
So that's why I was I didn't really feel like I said last week I wasn't really in the Christmas spirit so much this year, but then I was I'm sick, so kind of gave me a nice excuse to just
A good out.
yeah
A good out.
But I was sick. Me and Chili Beans were both pretty sick too. And me and him both just bundled up on the couch. We couldn't move and just watched a Muppets Christmas Carol together.
That's so
Oh,
sweet,
cute.
though.
That's adorable. That's adorable. two sick boys on the couch together in their blankies and their footy PJs watching the Muppets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. And yeah,
Everybody got the sniffles.
and I still haven't really left my place, honestly, in the past since I left on the 21st. So been kind of sitting at home all day. So you guys are really the first humans I'm interacting with, other than chili beans, in
Oh
the past
wow.
couple of days.
I feel badly for you then, because you're about to get a healthy fucking dose of reality.
Well, that's why we're gonna save you for last.
Oh my god, you have to.
Oh no.
But yeah, that was my Christmas. Just lonely and boring. Ate Chinese food.
Thanks.
You know, that was my Christmas dinner. Got like a lot of fucking Chinese food.
Damn, that's kind of cool though. Chinese food is delicious.
Well, it's like I mean, I don't know how much of a Jewish tradition it is around, other than New York, but I know it's like a big
Right.
Jewish tradition around here is to get Chinese food. So I was like, oh, I know Chinese food's open right now, so I'm gonna go do
There you
that.
go.
So yeah, other than that, I said it was just nothing. I just literally sat
That's
around.
also at the end of a Christmas story. They go out and get
Oh,
Chinese
they do
food
get
the duck.
right.
because it's one of the few places that's open.
Yeah.
And the Jewish don't celebrate the birth of a Messiah they don't believe in, so they have to have a place to eat. And the Chinese famously have other religions as well. So for both of those two cultures to mingle at a time where everybody else is pretty much closed makes a mountain of sense.
Yeah, we unite against one cause. But yeah, that's my Christmas. It kind of a whole lot of nothing. But I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it too at the same time. So I don't know. Maybe that says something about me. But Liz, how was your Christmas? I mean, you got a family and stuff. How did that go?
So there are 5 children in my house right now.
Damn.
And I don't have much of a brain left, but it has been really great, and having them all get to open their presents and stuff, and we didn't have that last year, so we got to have it this year, and it was absolutely wonderful having them all together. And I made food with the expectation that everybody would be here at the same time, and then like nobody showed up at the right time, and then my mother and my sister made food, so I have all of this excess food, so I'm shoving it down their throats all day. Like I'm like, kids, you're gonna eat this macaroni and cheese for lunch right now, and trying to get rid of it.
What did you guys have though?
For food?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Southern, obviously. I do not know how to, like, my grandmother was adopted. We don't know how to make any Laotian food. We don't know what we know how to do is biscuits and gravy and, East Tennessee shit.
Sure.
So we had hash brown casserole, ham, the little hot dog smokies, because the kids love those,
Ooh,
and barbecue
nice.
sauce. They're just junk. And
But it's
macaroni and
good
cheese.
junk.
Yeah, it sounds like good junk to me.
Big Dan would have been so proud of me, because I asked him, I was like, is it really important to shred your cheese? Because I never do. I always buy the bag. And he was like, dude, shred it, and it makes the world of difference. And I did. So I made mac and cheese with Sharp and Gruyere,
Ooh.
and shredded all that shit myself, and Kobe. And it was absolutely wonderful. We just had too much of it. I made like 6 pies, and everybody was done. Nobody wants to eat anymore. So
6 pies?
yeah.
6.
Well, I was expecting
How
a
many?
lot of
you get
happenings,
through
and
any
it
of
didn't
them?
happen. What's that?
Did you get through any of the pies?
We've made it through 1.5. So we made it through the chocolate pie. We made it through half of the pumpkin, and we've got a few more to go, and cake.
Damn, I wish I
So-
was living near you guys. I would take all those
Oh my
leftovers you
God.
don't
Oh, I'd
want.
love to have you. I'd feed you every day.
That sounds amazing. I mean,
That's my thing. I guess that's my love language. It's kind of like I'm like Big Dan in that respect. We're old Southerners, and we like to feed people.
Nice. That's awesome.
So that's how my Christmas has been. And now we got the kids so they all got their own gifts collective, like, the collective gift for the 5 children was a PlayStation 5.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
So it has been a PlayStation 5 marathon.
Was it like did the kids go crazy like that one like Nintendo kid? You know,
Yes.
he was like, "Oh my god!"
My son did, Jake. He went and he was almost in tears because he's wanted one for years, and I've just never been able to justify spending money on a PlayStation 5 when everybody has to have laptops and like we've got the PlayStation 4, and I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. I see what big of a deal it is because now that I'm playing it, I'm like, holy shit. And it's
yeah.
up against our 4K TV. It's
Well,
amazing.
it's probably
Nice.
beautiful.
It's got to be like you're inside of a game, right?
So we started with this Spider-Man game that came with it.
Oh, cool.
It feels like you're in a movie.
Yeah.
And you're playing it, and there's no lag, there's no load time. I mean, it's just instant. And
Yeah, it's that
so it was
Unreal
well
Engine,
man. The
man.
money.
Because they got
Nice.
that new fucking Unreal Engine that, like, you know, movies use it now because it's so realistic. Could you get, like, actual, like, reflections of light that it just photorealistic, which is just
It's
insane.
unreal.
Yeah.
Wait, Spider-Man swooping through the city.
Yeah.
It's you're in a movie and you're playing it, and like you almost feel a little sick going with it because it's so realistic.
Yeah, and I've seen the game, and it just, I'm jealous. I want to play it.
That feels almost too real for me. Do you know what I mean? Like almost
It
too.
does.
I like a cartoony game. I like a really like that's why I chase Pokemon. That's why I play Mario games. That's why I'm hooked on like a Nintendo. I like a cartoony child's game.
Yeah, how far is, like, how far is too real? You know?
Yeah.
When real becomes too real.
Ben, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to come over and play the TCM game too, and we're about to get the RoboCop one.
Ooh,
It is a
well, now
RoboCop
those
game?
I'll get down on because you do get to shoot the guy in the dick, right? Like
You
in
do,
the-
I believe.
Wait, since when has there been a RoboCop game?
It just came out this year.
Shit,
and
I didn't even know
for
that.
PlayStation 5, and it looks insane. So I'm really stoked for that. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Peter Weller voicing him too.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. I heard about that from Bart Hyatt. Bart got it. Trauma Bart.
Trauma
hi,
Bart.
Bart.
Trauma Bart. Fuck, I can't remember the full name.
Bart the Dart Sharpman,
There you
baby.
go.
Trauma Bart the Dart Sharpman.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a cool guy. He's really cool.
But I saw that he had picked it up and said it was pretty good. So.
You guys,
Oh, we're stoked for it.
and I don't really play video games, to be honest. But I did see this trailer for this new Jurassic Park game that looks fucking pretty awesome too. It's like a
Ooh.
survival game. So it's like you're like the premise is pretty funny to me too. It's like you're a scientist from the first Jurassic Park movie that basically gets left behind. And so like you watch them go off in like the helicopter or whatever, and then you're trapped on this the island, and you got to survive all the dinosaurs. It looked pretty sick. Like I was like, damn.
Well, we're gonna have to look into that because my little guy, the youngest, Grayson, he loves Jurassic Park and he loves dinosaurs. So that would be killer.
We're checking out. I mean, I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
He's Southern. It's dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
He's literally like listening to a little teeny tiny boomhauer. Sometimes we have no idea what he's saying, and it just all blends into one. But we can kind of understand it at the end.
You get the overall gist of it.
Yeah, just think Brandon, but very compact.
That's adorable.
I had a little talk with Dan about Brandon the other day, and Dan goes, "I've never heard a man that sounds more Southern than half of everybody I know." Goes, I can't tell you how much it fucking tickles me when I hear him say titties. And
Titties.
and I was like, I literally rolling on the ground. He's like, because he kind of hunches up like he's saying a thing he shouldn't say, but he loves it so much, and it just goes titties. And
I know that. very well. So he was on some podcast. Well, he does the podcast with me, but a while ago he was on some podcast with his band, Silent Horror, and it was a British fella that was hosting the podcast, and it was for horror punk. That guy did not expect Brandon's voice to come out of his body, and when it did, he was just floored, and he was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe, like, I did not expect you to sound like that." And people think he's like Australian and stuff because his accent's so chewy.
Yep. Yep. I believe it. I
It's
believe
wild.
Could I plug something really fast? Sorry.
Plug
I
it.
know I'm going out of order, but you said podcast. James, could I plug something?
Yeah, I mean, you're plugging now. Go ahead. Go do it.
Okay, sorry. At the beginning of January, a podcast I was on is going to be launched, Sledgehammer Horror. Everyone keep an eye out for that, please.
Oh, never heard of it.
King Sledge is really cool. Yeah. I recorded it at this point, it was like a couple weeks ago, whatever, by the time this drops. But it's just around the corner by the time the episode comes out. So early January, keep an eye out for it. I won't be on the show to plug it, so I'm plugging it now.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, Liz, it sounds like you had a fun Christmas.
Yeah, I had a really fun Christmas, and it's still full on, and I guess it'll be that way until after the new year. Just house full of gremlins.
It's cute.
Ben, how's it hanging?
I've had an amazing week. I'll put it that way.
Well, I saw you were Big Dan. That looked like fun.
So the last 4 or 5 days have been a series of massive high highs and low lows.
Oh.
So it all starts like a little bit before Christmas. It was like I want to say it was Saturday. It was Saturday. I go over to the laundromat, take care of a couple of things, right? Because I don't want to do it Christmas Eve. I don't want to do it Christmas Day, right?
Right, fair.
I go over there and I get there, clean out the lint, make sure there's plenty of quarters in the thing. And usually the last thing I do is I clean up the bathroom and put in some toilet paper in there, right? So I open up the door, and sure as shit, somebody, and I don't know how to explain it other than this. I open the door, and right in front of it, there's a pile of clothes, like a shirt, pants, underwear, and like a hoodie. And it's like somebody had just stripped down in the bathroom and either changed clothes and was like, "Fuck these dirty clothes." Like, I don't
left
need
them
them.
in the bathroom.
And just left them on the floor in the bathroom, right?
Huh.
And I was like, what the hell? This is bizarre. And then I was like, well, I had leaned down like I was going to pick them up. And when I leaned down, I noticed there was something else underneath the toilet. Somebody was doing a little skin popping in the bathroom. Like I found dirty needles.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, so somebody was like shooting up back there. And I guess they got naked to get their fix. I don't know. I mean,
They just left naked?
well, okay, so it gets weirder. So now I'm not touching anything because I'm like, you know what? I might own the place, but even I don't pay me enough to deal with this. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
That's
this,
like hazmat territory.
straight up
Right.
and down. So I get everything into the dustpan, and I'm like, the fuck am I gonna do with this? So I got a separate bag because I don't have hazmat. I got a separate bag, put it in its own bag, and then just fucking chucked it in the trash. I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, I'm out of here. They'll clear it out Monday. I don't give a fuck anymore. And I put it in the outside garbage cans. Sure as shit, as I'm getting ready to go, like I've had a whole ass moment. As I'm getting ready to go, dude comes walking in. He's all like hunched up, and you can tell he's kind of fucked up.
Oh, no.
And he goes, has anybody turned in any clothes here from like the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, and your fucking dirty needles too. We turned them right into the fucking garbage can. I unloaded on this guy. And he goes, I hadn't used needles in like years, man. And he was like, somebody did something to me last night. And I'm like, bullshit, that somebody
I
was
mean,
you.
yeah, you saw the needle. It existed.
Yeah.
That somebody
You
was
did
you.
something
That
to you.
somebody who drugged you in the fucking back was you. And like, who strips you down? Anyway, when I pointed out to where it was, and I told him, I was like, if you want your stuff, you can get it out the garbage can there. I ain't rooting around for it. And I hear him. He's outside with his old lady. And he gets into the pants. He gets into everything. Before just picking up his pants and leaving, he's out there and he's digging through the pockets. And he's like, it ain't here. It ain't here. All I can think is that he was looking for another bag of dope. That's all I could think. You know what I mean?
He probably thought he left it in one of those pockets.
Yeah. And he's like, I didn't even leave wearing the same clothes. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. I was very mad. That was the day before Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was a little bit better. And then I cooked and I drank, and it was wonderful. So that's all I did all day.
Sick from the photos you posted.
Bro, I make a mean ass roux. I'm not even gonna pretend. I'm not gonna be modest either. My roux is fucking
I know. I saw
sick.
Big Dan try to give you notes, and you were like, "Big Dan, you don't know what you're talking about."
You have no idea what you're saying. You don't know. You don't know. You stick to your barbecue, man. I don't tell you how to smoke butt. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't attempt to. No. No, what it is though is so there are different styles of gumbo, and like it all depends on what you do in your house. It's almost like a catch-all at certain points, but the base is always the same. The base is just oil and flour, right? And you heat it on usually I like to do like a medium to high to start it, because that starts it cooking, and then you keep dropping it down. But it's one of these things where you really have to know how high you want it versus how cool you want it, and when you want that, and when you want to take it off the fire to continue to cook it. Because your cast iron's going to get hot enough. Once you remove it from the heat, once it gets dark enough, it's going to continue to darken just a little bit based on that residual heat, right? And the idea is you don't want to burn it, but for a good gumbo, you want it on the corner of burnt. You want like a dark chocolate roux.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's all just flour and vegetable oil. It's amazing. So you start with that, and then I add it to like a chicken stock, and then from that chicken stock, I shred my chicken in the Instapot. Like I cook like 2-pound chicken, and then I just fucking pressurize it and shred. And then I add that to the pot with its stock, and that usually tops me off. And then from there, it's also a heating game and a stirring game, so everything gets good and mixed. My secret weapon, I'll tell you what I do. And my mom taught me this. It's so
You're gonna
you don't
tell
make
us
it
this
too
live
hot, but
on
you get,
air?
huh?
So you're gonna tell this live on air for
Yeah,
everybody?
because I think everybody should do it, and it's also just a good healthy tip. Like secret weapon, instead of like cutting up or dicing a jalapeno to put in there, right, to add the heat, you take one ginormous jalapeno and you just slice it down one side, right? Cut it deep into it, slice it down one side, split it. Don't cut it in half, whatever. Just that one split, one side, toss that in there. That motherfucker's going to sit in there. It's going to soak. Everything's going to cook into it. Everything's going to cook out of it. It'll be like just this floating green jalapeno, but it seasons it just perfect. And by the time you get down to the end of the gumbo, the thing's falling apart in there, and you'll be getting big ass chunks of like jalapeno that's already like bled out. It's sick. It's awesome.
Oh, I'm jealous.
But what Dan was talking about pissed me off though, and that's like more of a Tennessee thing. That's okra. Okra is the grossest thing to put in a gumbo ever. I will stand by that. That's some.
That was a very strange thing for him to say, though, in text. I was like, what, Dan? Like, you fry some okra, bread some okra, you eat it that way, douse it in ketchup, but nobody's going to be putting that in gumbo or anything.
So it weirdly is like...
What you talking about, Dan?
It's a more northern-ish version of a gumbo. So, like, In Tennessee, not odd to find it in there. Not
Really?
odd to find. Yeah. You go to some restaurants around here who serve it that don't know what they're doing, that aren't serving the Cajun cuisine, but we'll make a gumbo and we'll add okra. Yeah.
Have you been to the Cajun? I love saying the name because it sounds like a sex position. Have you been to the Cajun steamer?
No, I have.
So Brandon and I have been over there twice. The name just fucking kills us. I think we just like to say the name and be like, this is the place that we're going to eat our food.
Right.
But it's really good. I'd love for you and Jen to go over there with us sometime just to tell us if it's authentic.
Oh, 100% yes. Do they do like a good crawfish boil?
They do all kinds of shit. Yeah. And they do those big, I don't know what they're called, but those big donut things at the end with the powdered sugar.
Yeah, like the beignets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those too.
So I love a good crawfish boil. That is not a thing I've ever really tackled on my own.
So does he, and I don't like it because I don't like their little brains and all that stuff. I'd rather
Little
not.
brain.
You don't have to suck the heads. You can just pop the tails. You can just do that all day.
Have you had crawfish, James?
No, I mean,
So they're little
do it.
tiny
I'll try it.
monsters, and they love to just like all the dudes. They'll just cook them in this big. It's like a big boil, and they'll put them like with corn and potatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you have to break them apart to eat them, and they're just little monsters, and that's just gross.
kind of like a lobster or crab or something.
But
They're like a
tiny,
mini
like
lobster.
roach.
It's they're affectionately called mud bugs, is what they're called. But yeah, they're bottom feeders like a lobster. And what you'll do is you'll season up whatever your boil is, and then like Liz says, you're gonna toss in a bunch of potatoes, a bunch of corn. You're gonna let all that get the season in. You're gonna let that cook with your crawfish. And then you just sort of, once they're good and bright red, you pop those bastards out, throw them into a plate. And that's the thing, the ones I've been to in the past, you get a bowl that's literally, it's like a dish. It's almost like a fucking wheel on a car. And it's like this big around, this tall, and they just stack it up because you crack them in half. You suck the head, you pull the meat out the tail, you throw that in. You crack another one, you pull the meat out the tail, you throw that in, you suck the head. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Nasty. Yeah,
So-
I'll let you and Brandon eat that.
Of course, yes.
Me and Jen will eat the fun donuts.
Truth. But then, so we took the gumbo to Dad's. That was very nice. Christmas was good to me. Jen got me a couple of really cool things that I've been wanting that that I just wouldn't get for myself.
Like what?
Dude, so the Red Rage Toxie from Super 7.
Oh, the red
Yeah, yeah.
rage? Is it the red toxie?
So
I didn't
he's
see this.
green, but he's got these patches that kind of turn red
Oh.
when
I haven't
like
seen this toxie.
I'm sure you have. It's like he's got the white chest and everything, the white chest piece, but parts of his body turn red when they glow in the dark.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty
'Cause
ridiculous.
I got like what I thought was the glow in the dark toxie, but apparently he's not glow in the dark. It's just like
Yeah.
clear. So you're meant to put like a light on him. And I was like, oh, I was so mad. Cause I literally
Oh,
shut
wow.
all the lights
Yeah.
off and I went to go look. Oh, you got that, dude. I love that Toxie, man. I want
Yeah.
that figure so bad.
So
Nice.
this is the Red Rage one. This one, like parts of him will glow red. Like this leg, once he glows, you'll see this like ruddy color come out. It's pretty sick.
So
It's
'cause
pretty sick.
that's not the Crusaders one, right? Or is
No,
it?
no. Well, I mean, it's got the Crusaders
Yeah.
logos and stuff, but it's not the
'Cause they got that
traditional colorway or
Because they got
whatever.
that Crusaders Toxie, man. It looks like the cartoon, like right there as a
Mhm.
figure. It looks beautiful. I want it.
That's the Trick or Treat one.
Okay.
That's the Trick or Treat Studios Toxie that they put out. But I've been wanting this Red Rage for a minute, and like, so she picked me up that. She got me last podcast on the left's first comic book, which makes me very happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. and some of the coffee they sponsor from Spring Heel Jack, Mothman's Red Eye Blend.
My cousin, when I was at Thanksgiving, started listening to last podcast, and he was like, they talk about Tromo all the time. It's like, do you know that? And I was like, yeah, I kind of do.
I think the world of Marcus Parks. I think he's brilliant.
Oh, the amount of work that he puts into his scripts is crazy.
Holy shit. That and No Dogs in Space, too, is unreal.
Did you listen to their Beastie Boys series? Yeah. I love that.
Of course I did.
Jen's getting ready to start some No Dogs, so she might be doing like the replacements or something pretty soon. So, but yeah, good times. Went to Dad's on Christmas Day, and then like yesterday, mellowed out around the house for a minute. Then I met up with Jazz. Jasmine Hanks is in town.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Go over to Big Dan's. Actually, we met him at the meat shop because our sponsor, Big Dan, did not know what he was going to cook for us that day, but he wanted to cook something.
So he let you guys pick it out? Like when you pick out?
Yes. Very much. He ended up getting a pork loin. We get back to his shop. We're hanging out. Seasons it up. Gets fire started. And then we... it's what, a 2.5, 3 hour cook. It's not really based on time. It's more based on temperature, right? So it's like 2.5 hours, something like that.
Time is of the imagination to Big Dan. All he cares about is the internal temperature.
That's it.
We learned that real quick.
Oh my God. So we're there, and it's like it doesn't matter what time it is. It's like, and then he's like he lifts it up at one point. And he sticks his thermometer in, and he's like, longer, and just puts the lid down.
Longer.
And the second time he checked it, basically the second time he pulled that lid up, we were ready to pull that thing off. So we took it off. And the other thing he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this. Like, you want real Tennessee barbecue, you go to Big Dan because he knows what he's talking about.
Amen.
We pulled it out. And we pulled it out.
Hey.
That's what she said.
Yeah. we took the meat out of the smoker.
That's worse.
We pulled our meat out, and we put our meat right there on the counter, and then we just let our meat rest. We let our meat rest for like another hour, right? While we started cooking everything else for it. But he was like, while we were standing in the shop, he said the funniest thing. He's like, I don't know what we're making, but I got this vision of a sandwich.
He's got a vision. Yeah, his barbecue is like his art.
Bubba, I was rolling when I heard that. I was rolling. But anyway, long story short, we ended up eating this beautiful sandwich with it was like paper thin smoked pork loin, juiciest. It's no lie, I'm not making this up. Juiciest I've ever had because of the process, with a ghost pepper cheese, right? Grilled tomatoes, grilled onions, grilled mushrooms, topped with that ghost pepper cheese, and it was fucking unreal. So that was awesome. And then today sucked balls when I went back to the laundromat because guess what? Somebody took a shit in my garbage can. So anyway, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This is not the first time.
That
This is
is
not the
messed
first
up.
time.
It's so messed up.
But I did get a letter. Like, all of this podcasting and stuff and all of this movie making's actually panning out for me. I did come home to a letter in the mail today. I got an invitation. I'm going to be, and I don't know how these people got my name, but I'm going to be I'm going to be on a float in San Francisco during Pride. They're
You be on a float?
Yeah, they're gonna. Apparently, it's a float. They're making me the king of the Pride parade. So I'm like father of the Pride.
Hey.
Wow, good transition. Good news. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good transition, but I want to know more about this float. Well, like,
Yeah, my gay pride float that doesn't exist. Just bullshit I'm starting to make up because
That was a lie?
I see why Leo did this now. It's like why you have to make up stories. You tell so many truths, and then it's like, how do we get there?
You know,
someone
yeah,
really
when
poop
you
in
on
your
like the
garbage can, was that true? Did someone really poop in your garbage can?
That's very true. Yeah, I'll send you pictures if you want it.
Oh, no thanks.
Even if you
yeah,
don't
you
want
sent me a
bad.
picture and I was like, Ben, I think I believe you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, I
There's
do.
shit in my garbage cans.
But
Terrible.
yeah,
Terrible.
we're talking
So
father.
do you know how I retaliate when they do that?
What?
I close the bathroom and I lock it and I put up signs that says no public restroom. And then I think I'm just going to punish the town and be closed for a couple of weeks. Fuck them. Like, I get angry.
Yeah, no laundry for you. Like you poop
No
it up.
laundry for you. Fuck you.
Yeah, look what happens when someone poops in a trash can.
You guys want to know why we're closed? Tell the fucking garbage can shitter.
But I
Talk
thought,
to him.
but Ben, I thought it was any port in the storm.
You know what? Unless I have to clean it up.
Yeah, that's all.
Because I'm
Right
also
on.
respectful when I any port in a storm. I am. I will wipe my ass. I will make sure my poop gets into that port. And if there's any poop on the ground, you know what I do? I fuck clean it up because I'm a champion and it came out of me. Right? Right? Didn't come out of somebody else. I don't fuck around with that. Like, I was telling my dad today, I was so lit up. I says to him, I says, you know what, Pops? Here's the thing, man. It's like, I'm 44 years old. I'll be 44 in January. It's like, my days of cleaning up other people's shit are long past me. Long past me. I'm done with it, right? Unless it's my own shit or the shit of someone I love who needs my help. Done cleaning up people's shit.
All I'm thinking about is just Derek, just pantsless. Ben, I need your help.
Weirdly, like that's gonna be my new litmus test for friends. Like, whose asses would I wipe and whose asses would I not? You know? It was terrible. But I mean, it was a rough day. However, I don't know about you guys, but I have so many mixed feelings about this. But I'm very curious.
We have to talk about this show because this is not
Nicole.
what I thought this show was going to be in the slightest. Like, I thought this was like Furby Island levels of like what the show was going to be. And it's not. I mean, Nicole, how did you find the show? Because it's pretty rare, kind of, not want to say lost media, but hard media to exist. I mean, nobody knew. I didn't know this existed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I might have just been browsing, like, looking around, whatever. I, like, fall down rabbit holes all the time. And I think I just came across this. And, like, when I suggested it, like, similar type of thing, I had, like, a Furby Island type, thought process where I was like, oh, my God, this is going to be, like, the most, like, stupid show ever. The premise for, like, our audience that doesn't know is, like, Vegas lions for like Siegfried and Roy and like all their animals and whatever.
As like a sitcom.
But you didn't watch this when it aired, right?
I did not. No,
I don't think
heard
anybody
about
did.
it like sometime this year or last.
Got it.
And was like, okay, this is definitely gonna be like the dumbest thing in the world. Like, what the hell is this like premise? It was like it lasted one season in like 2005, 2006, whatever. And, like, I mean, look, I don't know any of y'all's opinions of it, and, like, you're entitled to your opinion, whatever, totally okay. I watched a bit of it and was like, wait, like, I actually like this? Like, what's happening? I was very much not expecting it to take itself seriously at all, I guess. Or, like, that's the wrong way to put it. I just wasn't expecting to be, like, any level of, like, good, and it kind of was.
Yeah, I kind of went in, like,
I did like
waves
it. I did
of,
like it. I personally liked it. Whatever anyone thinks, fine. I liked it.
I feel like I went through like kind of waves because I went to it initially being like, all right, this fucking dumb kid show. And then when it opens up immediately with like, Larry the lion talking about banging his wife, I was like, what is like, it just immediately threw me off. And I was like, I got it. Because the opening bit when he walks in and he was like, it's 9 a.m. in New York, but here it's mountain time.
Oh, yeah.
So like and I went through sort of the same thing, like these weird, like, and it's overall I enjoyed it. Like, is the thing I did. my favorite parts about it are sort of like the traditional kind of sitcom setup, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I loved the fact that they kept, while it's big in scope of what it is and concept, like they kept the challenges small enough, right? Like in the first episode, what is it? The neighbor panda is upset because she's never gonna get laid. She's a 30-year-old virgin.
Played by Lisa Kudrow.
Now
that was cool.
Oh, I didn't recognize her voice. Good catch. Or good.
That was the first voice I recognized. Yeah. Like besides John Goodman's, I was like, "What the fuck? Like Phoebe's on here?"
Yeah.
And the other thing that they did, so apart from the voice talent that they got, because there's so many guests
we can totally
in this show,
get into a whole conversation about that.
I mean, Danny DeVito, right?
I mean, Cheryl, Daniel Harris, they're all there. The young kid, I don't remember his name, the actor's name, but I know he's the kid
from Spy Kids.
Yeah, he's from Spy Kids. And the Green Inferno. You see
Eddie
his dick.
Murphy, motherfucker. What?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing is like, so she can't get laid, and then the panda doesn't like her. He likes Larry's old lady instead, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you removed the fact that they were lions and pandas and whatever, like that's an episode of Married with Children.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's any fucking sitcom, and I think that's why it works. Then they do this wonderful thing with Siegfried and Roy, and I had to look that up to see if it was them actually voicing them. I know they were like executive producers on it, so they were just like, we're gonna give a little bit of money so we can make a lot of money.
It was also in production when the guy got attacked too.
Yep. I wonder if
y'all
that's what.
Remember that in the news where he was trying so hard to not blame the tiger that mauled him? He was like, it was just trying to carry me to safety because it knew I was having a heart attack or stroke or whatever. And he was like trying really hard.
Yeah,
like, dude, you fucking got mauled by that tiger.
That tiger was trying to kill you. I mean,
there's no way around that.
I'll save my tiger speech and lion speech for later, but that's honestly, like, I guess it's because of how old I am. I mean, that's the only thing, like, I remembered. Like, I guess I kind of knew they existed, but I knew Siegfried and Roy as the tiger, the lion dudes who got attacked by their tigers. Like, that's the only thing I really remember them.
Well, I just love that just because they were such a over the top act and kind of like not so well respected in that Las Vegas scene of folks that were doing these things, these entertainment folks. They were just kind of like a spectacle that this can poke fun of them in the way that it does in what they do and their romps, because there's always like a flip story of them in each episode.
Yeah.
And apparently they were okay with it from what I've read. Like they actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, but I read
like,
they
thought
pushing
it was funny.
They were pushing the show harder even after the accident too. They were like, no, you still have to. Though even though I don't think it makes them look all that good. Like it does not make them look like good people. I don't think it makes them
look all that bad. Like,
I mean, in the first episode when the panda, when they say his name, I forget what the actual panda's name is, and then he goes, "Oh, that's your name?" He goes, "No, my name is Nelson." He's like, "I thought your name was this." And he goes, "No, that's my slave name." And I was like, "So is that just what this is? Is just Siegfried and Roy? Is this just their like animal, like, you know, in quotation sanctuary where they're just locking up all these animals in here?"
So okay, like, and that's the other thing. This show is at a time when you could get away with a lot. I think they called them homos in an episode. Mm-hmm. Like somebody called somebody a homo, which also sort of tickled me. I was like, oh, TV-14 used to mean freedom. Everybody was bitches and there was a bunch of asses, and like, then all of a sudden, I want to say it's around the Thanksgiving episode, you hear Kate start to kind of pull her swears a little bit more, and she's going by letters and whatever. Maybe that's just because she was up for the PTA. I don't know. Maybe they got a note from the network. I
Well,
don't
they
know.
had some kind of like backlash from a parental organization because at the time they were like, this is supposed to be for children or this is marketed towards children and this is too adult
I
and you
mean,
need to pull it.
it looks like a children's show.
It
Like if
really
you didn't
does.
tell
Like
me it was
this
an
looks
adult
like
show.
something my kids would have
Yeah.
watched when they were
Does
little.
it? Because them fucking lions got dumpers, man. I'm not.
I mean, you've seen Incredibles. They, Mr.
Yeah.
Incredibles got a
There's
dumper.
something with them cartoon moms and them dumpers. Like,
And it's
It
made
was
by
hard to
DreamWorks.
tell. I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt like when I was watching it, and maybe that's why it lasted a season. I was like, who is this for? Kind of. Like it was
Yeah,
really
that-
hard to tell a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the strange thing about it is it's adult enough to be for adults, but it's not over the top adult. Like this isn't watching Family Guy or this isn't watching South Park, although they do a lot of that humor, but it's not so severe. But it's also got that sitcom-y thing to it. And I think the sitcom-y thing works better overall than the adult humor.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about it.
but then when you look at that, when you look at it like from that sort of sitcom-y notion, if you look at what sort of traditional American sitcoms were coming up and into that time, you would have shows on one end of the spectrum like The Cosby Show, but then you would have, and I love it, You're Married with Children's. You know what I mean? You would have your Tim the Toolman Taylor, you would have your Home Improvements, and then you would have these other things. This dog's gonna fucking kill me. She's gonna kill me right now. Hang on, I'll be right back. But
No,
but to that end, I fucking dog.
No, and I get what Ben is saying too, but it's just like, just look at it as like a surface. Like I said, like even before we watched it, I was like, this is just some kid show, because it's also made by DreamWorks, so it just has
Right.
this like Shrek look to it that just feels like I'm
Did
watching
you guys
a kid
end up
show.
watching that episode with Donkey in it?
I was gonna say it literally has Donkey in one episode.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
as much DreamWorks as you can get, and it's
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that was like
initially when I was watching it, I was like, oh, they just reused some footage, right? And then Eddie Murphy keeps talking, and I was like, oh, this is not reused Eddie Murphy dialogue. So they
And
really,
I love that he kept saying ass.
yeah.
That was killing. My kids watched it with me. We were just cracking up.
I love Donkey as a celebrity.
I hate it that this only made it a season because I feel like if they could have like
Yeah.
pressed on, they could have really got some better writing in there or hired some better writers to make it go far.
Well, from what
Yeah,
I saw online too, when I was reading up on it, was probably another reason why I probably didn't get a second season. Apparently, it cost about $2 million an episode to make this
I
show.
saw that.
That's
I mean, they've
insanity.
got Katzenberg money, or they had Katzenberg money behind them, so you'd think that wouldn't be a big deal, but
Well,
apparently it was.
That's a lot of money for a TV show, especially 2005. That's
Mhm.
crazy. That's like insane.
Why? Any idea what like just the animation costed that
Yeah,
much?
I
Like,
mean,
what
if
was
you look
it?
at the
I mean,
animation, it's not terrible, so it makes a lot of sense.
But at the time too, this has to be the same people that were animating Shrek,
Yeah.
and you're
Right.
animating 1/3 of a Shrek every week. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's really the idea to get it as good as it was. And I would argue that it's on par with like a Shrek 2 as far as that stuff looks. That's why they
Yeah,
pulled
that's what I'm
Donkey
saying.
in.
And you're doing that on cable television, of course it's gonna cost fucking, and even just having Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
on there, that probably cost them a fuck ton of money too for that one episode.
500,000, baby.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy.
And that was probably like an
Yeah.
hour and a half of his day, not even.
Mm-hmm. So, and like that's the part of I guess sort of this, like, is it sitcom? Is it kids? I would challenge that this was never truly intended for kids, because then it would have been like what, early AM, and this was like a primetime show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't know, but that's a good point. It just looked like kids animation, but you're right. Everything else about it is
Wow.
very like not even adult animation. Definitely more like sitcom-y.
But
It
I
pissed
dig
off a
what,
lot of parents at the time.
I dig what you're saying, like to a degree, Nicole, about like, oh, it looks like kids animation. But at the end of the day, like it could be argued Simpsons looks like kids animation, South Park looks like all animated stuff has a weird sort of kiddie vibe to it in
I guess
general.
it's just animation. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I guess if it's just animated.
And we
But
also
why
don't
did it
know.
piss off did the parents just like get the marketing? Maybe that's what it
So-
was. That the marketing was
yeah,
just
I mean,
confusing
we
the
have-
parents
People
just-
want a reason to bitch, and especially back then, they wanted a reason to bitch. I
Yep.
wonder if there was any sort of disclaimer
'Cause I-
prior to the
yeah, I
because I
wonder
didn't
what
watch
this
it when it
marketing was.
aired.
Yeah.
TV 14, that's all the
Okay.
disclaimer you needed. That's it. You know what I mean? Oh, whatever. And most parents at that point in time were like, fuck it. Whatever. As long as it's not TVM, it's not, what is it? NYPD Blue and Dennis Franz's
Or
ass isn't
TVMA.
on my television. I don't care. Like, watch what you want, you know? At least that's my general assumption. I was out of the house.
I guess it is kind of interesting to like, and look, I'm not discrediting anything they did or that whatever. It is interesting to put a character from a kid's like movie like Shrek in an adult.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that this is the first time it's been done. Like, I'm pretty sure Family Guy has done, and South Park have probably done that a million times. I'm just saying it's like an interesting.
Well,
thing.
absolutely. And consider this too, though. Here's sort of the thing, right? I actually thought that was really clever, and that's one of the ones I enjoyed more. Out of this was the one where Donkey showed up, because I like the idea that what they've done is they've basically not only played on the celebrity that's current, right? In the zeitgeist for the people watching, because they were talking about Shrek 3 coming up. So you've got Shrek 1, Shrek 2 are out, okay, at this point in time.
Yeah,
If
so
Shrek
that's already
3
at
is,
like top of its game of Shrek. This is like
Yeah.
the height of Shrek.
but if both those movies are out and you take those like 7-year-olds to 10-year-olds that saw Shrek 1 in the theater, they're going to go back for Shrek 2 2 years later, right? Now they're like 12. Now they're 14. Shrek 3's coming out or whatever, and then Donkey's coming on. And it's like, it's a good tie-in. And then the way they played off Donkey as the too cool for school fucking celeb that can't say no, whatever. I think it was a pretty good indictment on celebrity.
No, I think so too.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at a point in time where it made sense for that. Now, if we fast forward to other celebrity cameos in here, the other problem this show has.
Yeah, there's some
and
other problem celebrities in this.
Well, not just like problematic, but I mean overall, the challenge the show has, it dated itself from Jump Street. This show is so dated. Half the jokes they make will not make sense, don't make sense now, 20 years later, will not make sense in 10 years.
Oh,
to
that
anybody.
pilot episode with Dick Cheney. My kids are like, was that a president? I'm like, that was a vice president.
What is a Dick Cheney?
Oh, yeah, what?
What
Really
is a
very
Dick
dated,
Cheney?
right.
I mean, even Siegfried and Roy. I mean, you know,
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
R.I.P. to
Yeah,
Siegfried and
sure.
Roy, but they haven't been relevant in how many years too? So
But bro, they made those guys fucking characters
Yeah.
that you could actually give a
Dude.
shit about.
Them in the 7-Eleven, I was fucking dying. I was dying.
When he gets the Sprite and then the lights come on and the smoke, and Siegfried goes
fog.
to explain what it is, and Roy just goes, just say his magic, and he throws his fucking hand up.
Their German accents are like spot on too.
Oh.
Are they German? They're German, right?
Bavarian. So yeah,
Bavarian. Okay.
I mean, that must have been a fun recording day, just having these two actors, like comedic actors, come in, and they're just doing their act like Siegfried and Roy accents for like a whole day.
Wait, so it wasn't. Ben mentioned it before. I wasn't sure. Was it then,
No,
or
it's
was
not
it?
Ben.
no. It was
okay.
actors.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Definitely actors. And what I think is the funniest thing though, or if it were me, and I was in their position, and if I was EP, and two characters or at least a character was based on me and my homie, I would be in that room watching it be recorded, and I would be like, "You're not going far enough." That's what and the fact that I hear that they like it, and they think that it's good, and they thought it was funny, and they wanted to push further, actually makes me respect them a little bit more.
True.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's because it doesn't make them seem like the best people at all.
It makes them seem like we're caricatures, and I think they play into that caricature really, really well. Like really, really well.
Like Roy just keeps like taking animals. Like if he just sees an animal in front of him, he's like, "I'm just gonna take you."
When he takes Snack, the Orlando, is it Orlando Jones?
Orlando Jones.
Yeah.
When he takes Snack in, and this little groundhog, and he names him Heinrich or whatever, and then he sees the bunny that's also named Heinrich, and he's like, "You knew this about me when you came. You know this about me. I love animals. I love it. It takes them all in." Like I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?" I loved them. Honestly, the more I watched it, the more I wanted more Siegfried and Roy.
Well, with Ben and Liz, did you guys have like? I mean, you guys remember history with that? I mean, do you guys have any like recollection of history of? Did you ever see their shows at all or anything?
The only thing I remember is like what Liz said, that they like one of them got attacked.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing I remember most. But they were
famous.
famous.
They were like they were very defensive of the animal, which I kind of do respect, to be honest, in a weird way, but like also.
Well, let's put this disclaimer in here. I don't think any of us really
allegedly
approve of anyone using animals in that fashion to exploit them.
Nobody should own big cats.
Fire and stuff like that on the
That's a
stage
good
for
point.
entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us here approve of that. What we do approve of is just the ridiculousness of Siegfried and Roy.
So
the over the top ridiculousness, because that's all it like that's what they're remembered for. They're like the Liberace of animal entertainment.
Here's what I remember specifically is that they were this team, magicians, because they were always in. They were always the butt of the jokes because, much like Liberace, it was like an open secret that they were together, that they were a couple. But they were sort of perpetuated to be like these sort of ladies' men, but the magic and the tigers.
Yeah,
it takes too much of it.
I always thought they were brothers.
Oh. Well,
that's
I'm
adorable.
sure lots of old ladies at the time wanted to believe that too. You know?
But no, they weren't no brothers, man. And it wasn't until like way later. I don't even know if it's ever really been confirmed that they were actually a couple, but I mean, like, you do math, like simple basic math. They lived together. They owned a bunch of big cats together. They did magic together. They were always together. I mean, chances are there's a big king size bed in there, you know.
Right. It's a lot more than business partners.
Yeah.
At that point.
And that's cool.
And we all knew.
Everybody. But it became that butt of the joke. So I remember being as young as like 7 or 8, knowing who Siegfried and Roy were, but it was mostly because it was a tag on something. You know what I mean? I do remember seeing earlier interviews with them, like something in like the 90s and like morning shows and stuff. I used to watch a lot of early morning news because Mom was a teacher and she would drop me off before she would go to the high school. So she would drop me at the elementary school. So whatever she had on. And that's the other interesting thing that I thought in this was, you know, they're constantly referring like to Good Morning America or like what's the LA one, like fucking the Wake Up LA or whatever the fuck it was. But they make these references to the morning shows that they were going on. And it's in the first 3 episodes. They're really pissed at Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's-
Well, I think a lot of people are really pissed at Matt Lauer.
well,
Yeah.
now, but then nobody knew that in 2003,
true.
2005.
It was a different story. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
was Land of the Lost?
The original
Wasn't
or
it
the
around that movie? Like, wasn't
That
that around that time too? So everybody was poking fun of Matt Lauer.
like it was it's ridiculous. And God, when they pull Frasier out of retirement to be their therapist,
To be their therapist.
like that's the thing. There are points in time where I would lose focus on the Tigers and the Lions because I was more wrapped up into the world of Siegfried and Roy. I wanted to know
More
more
of that
about
show.
that.
I know, because what they bring the tiger to Frasier to have him talk to him, and then Roy just starts going off about his dad. Oh, Ben, you muted yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, because the dog was barking. I'm trying to be better about that as we go along. So, like, did everybody make it through the whole series?
I actually
Yeah.
did.
I did.
Okay. There's so much to unpack in this fucking show.
So,
like,
is it me, or was like I think it's like the second to last episode? Larry becomes the head lion, and it feels like it's out of order.
yes, because I felt like in the first couple of episodes he was the headline.
Yeah, that's what I always
Mhm.
thought. And then he got the head lion, like let's say the second to last episode, I think it is.
And I don't know if that's a thing where if we did a little bit of research, maybe they flipped which one was the pilot and pushed it back later because it
I
was more.
wonder.
well, there was something. I read that there was something with the pilot where it was reworked, like after it had aired, too, where it was reworked in a weird nonlinear flashback type way.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So technically, there's supposed to be 15 episodes of this, 2 that were unaired originally,
Wow.
and then it's it's 12, and then 1 was unfinished, but it still aired. Like,
I don't know how you can have unaired episodes and you're dropping $2 million on an episode.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. good
unless they said homo a lot more.
Oh.
They could, yeah, that episode, those last episodes went too far. They crossed the line.
That's what killed him, right? Like that's what took him out finally was like language.
See, I thought it'd be
What-
like the turkey episode if that was going to take out the show. It'd be the turkey
Bro.
episode.
Dude.
Okay, dude, what that whole episode blew my fucking mind. Like in so many both good and bad ways, I loved that episode. I like what? So Grandpa's racist against turkeys. We learned that.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about Carl Reiner?
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
holy shit. He chews every voice acting moment that he's in this. So that's a great episode for him.
From the point in time where the nip is his and not the daughter's in like the 3rd episode where the catnip is his
Yeah.
and not the daughter's.
I love it when he's so nonchalant about it too.
He's like, yeah, the one I kept in here with the vase. I don't want the vase so much.
Danielle
but
Harris is fantastic in that episode too.
But the vase. I don't need that so much as what else was in there. What are we doing?
She's like, I've been trying to tell you.
I
It's
guess
not
it was.
mine.
I guess
told
it
you."
was a friend's.
But they totally disregard her seeing the older man too. Like she's seeing an older man with kids.
That's
She's
right.
a teenager. And they totally just disregard that.
No big deal. It's weird Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas? Okay, and that's another thing that carries on throughout this series is like, what was it? It had to have been the granddad. before Larry takes over for him. It's when he's getting ready to, and he gets his wig pulled off. It's in that moment. It's like right before that, as they're gearing up for the scene, and the lady comes by, the lady tiger comes by, and he's like, "Bring that tush over here," and he like slaps her in the ass or whatever, and he goes, "God, I love this business." And,
Oh, I do remember that.
like, what the fuck am I watching right now? What am I,
You're just watching these tigers slap each other's butts. Lions.
what is happening? Or the jaguar when
The sexy
when they go
jaguar.
out and he forgets the anniversary, and she makes the jaguar sad because she won't have sex with him, but then he's like, I cannot pleasure the ladies. What is wrong? Though, anyway, back to Grandpa though. Grandpa, so racist against these turkeys. He's like, all they do is steal and they're filthy and they're whatever. It is racism unhinged.
Right.
And like I've said it 1,000 times, I love seeing shit like that. I don't know about you guys. I love it.
Do you think it's easier to deal with because it's like a lion doing these things and not a human? It's like a humanized lion being so terrible.
To a turkey.
So and turkeys.
To a turkey.
But they did okay, no. So short answer, no, it doesn't. Weirdly, like there's a part of me that it's like what is it, Orwell's Animal Farm, right? It's sort of like that. I think it points the finger more, and it's actually a little bit. It's not that it's easier to see, but when you look at it from like pigs be hating birds, be hating cows, be hating horses, it's a thing where it's like, oh, which group am I in? You know what I mean? Am I a pig? Am I that? So I don't think it makes it easier. I think it makes it fun. I think it makes it a lot of fun. But they did something interesting, really interesting. When the turkey takes the watch, the turkey actually took the watch, right?
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, see, I told you. Or no, he doesn't even see it.
No.
He doesn't even see it. Strike that. Granddad doesn't see it. What is it? Larry sees it as she's getting ready to go in for the vote. And he's like, fuck that watch. Who cares? Go in there, win your election. It's fine. It's fine. But now she's basically disowned her parent for being this terrible person. But it turns out, you know what? His blanket racism? Okay. Yeah. A turkey was a thief. A turkey was a thief. He was right in that one particular instance.
And then all the turkeys turned on that turkey.
And they're like, yeah, Don sucks, or whatever his name was, whatever his turkey ass name was. They're like, Joey the turkey sucks.
keeps
We've
ripping
been
off
saying
everybody.
it for years.
Yeah.
He's the thief, giving all turkeys a bad name. And it was everything inside of me I could do to just not like you see those moments, right? Where people get on their high horses and they quickly disown their quote unquote racist friends, racist family, all of this shit. And then it's like, oh wait, no, never mind. My bad. Joey was bad. But then when they flip it and they prove that it's just one person, and hey, even all us turkeys know, but you know what? Turkey's a turkey. We're still going turkey. And like, I don't know what message they're sending, and that's why I think it's so funny. Like, that's why I thought it was great.
I watched that episode with Chili Beans, and he was like, "Is this episode pro-racist?" I was like, "I don't think so. I mean, it's the one turkey, so I don't think it is."
That's what I'm getting. I couldn't tell if it was like, if it's like, I don't think it was full blown pro-racist. I think it was like a little touch of racism is okay, is what it was saying.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Like,
I mean, it's like always be open-minded, right?
Right.
In a sense.
Don't turn on your granddad so quick.
Yeah.
Maybe his watch did.
Because also, I mean, if you look at what she was doing, she was basically like getting rid of all her values just to put herself up on stage, to get
It-
votes.
It goes deep in a weird way, this
Yeah.
show. And like I enjoyed it more and more the more I watched it. And in reading those log lines for it, it was so simple to know what you're getting into. And I like that. There's something very pure about a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, I agree too. But I guess what really confused me though, and I guess maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but how this like animal world works, I guess. I guess it's so they're definitely locked in there. It's like they're basically in a zoo that's owned by
Yeah.
Siegfried and Roy. But yet,
Right.
like, they just also just have a society. Like, it's also weird to me, like, in that episode with Donkey, where all the kids are like, oh, your dad sucks, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, doesn't this whole place exist because of his dad?
Right. Because of the lions, because of everything that's sort of going on.
But
Dude,
yeah, I guess maybe the kids didn't see it that way, or the kids weren't aware enough, maybe. I don't know. That's a good point. The kids probably are just a bunch of dumb kids. They don't know.
But he's still the head show lion that's funding whatever this entire, like,
Whatever their
whole town
community
is.
It's
Okay.
known that Siegfried and Roy are funding it. It's known that that's the case. But what you're talking about is like just general social hierarchy.
I love when they buy them the TV.
Yeah, they just buy him a TV. Like, these big cats are going to watch TV.
Yeah.
I love it when Larry steals the TV. You wanted me to be spontaneous. You're spontaneous.
And then they bone.
I didn't know what this show wanted to be, and I think that's why I enjoyed it. There's another point where they're in that 7-Eleven, and I had it paused for like half a day because I got busy doing something else and I didn't want to lose my spot. But it's Roy with just wild eyes, and he's looking through all the magazines. You see all the magazines on the racks. All of the hot rod cars were like, if you look at those magazine titles, and again, the only reason I know this is because it was up on my TV. They were all said hot red cars. And I didn't know if that's because of like how they pronounced it, or or if it was something else. And weirdly, I don't think any of the cars were red on the magazines that they had in there. So maybe it was just the German accent. I couldn't tell. I had no idea what was going on, and it made me laugh.
No, that's true.
I liked the Martin Scorsese episode too.
Oh
Nearly.
yeah.
Did you notice-
I forgot about that one?
Did you notice that episode? They're like the ship that they're on is Titanic 2.
Yep.
I didn't notice that. That's funny.
Hands down, my favorite part in that episode is when he's the merman and he gets up and he has that big dramatic moment and then he storms off just like waddling away in his like little thin outfit.
I just like when they yell at Scorsese that he doesn't know how to make movies.
And then what was it? 20 years later, he's yelling at Marvel saying this isn't cinema.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Turnabout's fair play for old Marty. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like it made me happy in a lot of ways. And the like your dad knowing the famous movie star, right? Your dad know, and then or being bigger than he is when he comes to your school for parent teacher day. Like that's a trope. That's a thing that
Yeah.
you have seen in sitcoms before.
When they bring in the MGM lion.
I loved it when he put it over
yeah.
his face.
Yeah, the whole little like
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like and that's what I'm saying. Like that logo I don't think will ever go away. I think that is married in stone. But it's when you start hitting those notes and you really start to date your work with all those references.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem.
I mean,
And
I
that
remember
thought.
when they stole the TV, they were like, how are we going to watch these two shows at the same time? And then he steals the TiVo.
And you're like, what even is a TiVo now?
Yeah. Yeah, like literally, like what is a TiVo? These like it's just, that
that's a
doesn't
good
even
point.
exist.
It doesn't exist, right?
There's a whole generation that TiVo, like, they're growing up not knowing what that is anymore.
Like Liz, did your kids have any idea what a TiVo is?
Not at all. This is like my kids watching The Critic and just told everything just going way over their head. But they're looking it up on their future phones, as we're going to get the jokes. And that it's weird how something like this can really date itself, but it's so precious in that way because it's a little time capsule.
Yes. That's the other part of it is like, if you're of a certain age, this hits. This hits hard, and it's good. I don't think it ever really punches. I don't think it ever really punches down. And again, I know I've said it, and I know there's no need to keep repeating it, but I don't think it paints Siegfried and Roy in that bad of a light.
No.
Honestly,
I don't think so either.
Oh, okay.
Makes it look a little silly, but whatever. I don't
Great. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
making jokes about
no big deal.
ourselves. Life is good. We make
It just
jokes
makes
about
them more endearing.
That's all it does.
It makes their legacy more endearing.
And especially considering, like, in future generations will be like, well, did you see how nice they treated them on the show? They gave them fucking
They gave them
television.
TV. Yeah.
That is the thing. Like, no one even knows about this show. Like, it's on Peacock, which I don't know. Peacock seems to have a lot of really good shows on it. It's not like Netflix where I feel like it's oversaturated. You know what I mean?
I mean, I
Well,
think
this
it's just
aired on
buried.
NBC. That's why, right? Didn't this
Yeah,
air
yeah,
on
it was
NBC?
NBC.
That's what Peacock essentially is, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Peacock essentially is NBC's app.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. No one knows about this show. No one talks about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even heard about it until you brought it up. And I'm sure because they buried it for whatever reason, and it probably failed when it came out, and they were like, all right, it's gone. And then someone was
I
like,
can
oh.
barely remember the ads for it. That's as much as I remember at that time.
And that's about what I got too from it. Is just like, what the fuck is this? A thing I will never watch.
Do you actually remember ads for this?
Yeah.
I don't.
They showed them on our Channel 4 here on NBC.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it was just little blurbs, and it would show the dad and the son walking,
I guess
and stuff.
That's what I really appreciate most about the show is that someone pitched this and some executive was like, yeah, I'll give you the $2 million an episode to make this weird thing about these lions sitcom with Siegfried and Roy.
Right. This weird lion community that lives in Vegas that works for Siegfried and Roy. What a specific and weird niche for a show.
So I'm gonna bet that's some fucking asshole producers thing. You know where we can get money? I originally bet this was just a fucking show about a father and a son lion. And then one guy is like, you know what? I know where we can get money. I bet you I know where we can get money. What if it's Siegfried and Roy's lions, huh? There you go. And then they start doing more coke. And then the next thing you know, and what if they're all horny all the time? And, what if that's it? That's the show. The horny lions. And, there's an old man dating a 16-year-old lion. That's hot, right? I bet it's some asshole producer who took a very pure show and then fucking turned it into Siegfried and Roy. And then Siegfried and Roy were like, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
we
pay
like money.
Siegfried and Roy. Every time they showed up and their theme song played, I shit too.
It was like they go to the restaurant and they wear the mask and there's Siegfried and Roy song plays and the the waiter was like, Siegfried and Roy. He's like, how'd you know it was us? I was like, well, you played your theme song that has your name
theme
in
song
it.
played. So that's another thing that blew my mind. Okay, that absolutely blew my mind. The Barbra Streisand ordering up the Danny DeVito lobster, like you almost think that that's wrapped up when they put him back in the tank. Like that's where it normally ends. But like all good sitcoms, how do we take this one step further?
Yeah.
And then the journey goes like, oh, well, he's picked at dinner by Barbra Streisand. And then now it's the Lions have to secure him from that. Another genius episode. Danny DeVito is his protest leader. Like when Larry's holding his fucking his 6-pack of beer, and he's like, "Is that a plastic ring I see?" Yeah. This thousands of fish are murdered. Blah blah blah. Whatever he says, and then he goes, "I just like holding my beer on one finger." I don't know. I just like doing that.
That's how I feel about most things. When people tell me that, like, whatever I like is, bad for something, I'm like, well, I just like to play with my toy. I don't know. Like, I just want to hold it. Like,
I just want to drink from a straw that doesn't
Yeah.
disintegrate in my hand.
Exactly.
That's it, or disintegrate in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Have you gone the route of getting your own personal metal straws yet?
God, no.
I got
have,
one. Honestly,
I
metal
have
straws
those
are
in this
awesome.
house.
Yeah, I got
I
one.
do have some reusable ones in this house. I think they're plastic, but the only reason is because I'm just not gonna. I honestly just don't want to keep buying straws. Like, I guess that's really what it was. I just got like cups and matching like plastic straws.
Yeah.
I do think y'all ever have like agave straws? Those are perfect
I haven't had that.
because they're just like they're as hard as plastic, and they don't disintegrate.
Well,
Just
what
the
I like
bougie
that
East Nashville drinks where they put them in there and like
just
it's
disintegrates.
you don't have time to drink your drink that you just paid $15 for because you're limited on the paper straw disintegration time.
Yeah, no, paper straws is not the thing.
What I like when
That's not-
like some places are doing like a little lip at the top of the cup, so you don't need a straw. You just have
That's
like a little,
perfect.
almost like a
Oh,
sippy
like
cup.
like Starbucks does that, like almost like an
Yeah.
adult sippy cup type thing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not being like facetious. Like, it's a good concept. For
Yeah.
sure. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, way better than shitty straws. But I also have a metal straw, and it's also pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're not packing your straw everywhere and it's just for like use at home or whatever, that's cool. Or if you know you're gonna be going out, like I'm gonna be sipping shit, and you just toss your straw in like your bag, you're good to go.
You just at the club, and they're like, "You need a straw?" Nope. Boing.
What? That's the ultimate sign of affluence. It's like
Yeah,
affluence
I
and
bring my own-
pre-planning.
You've made it.
I bring my own straws.
I mean, I'm 90% sure Jen packs hers in her lunch bag most days, depending,
Aw.
like just in case. But yeah, we got metal straws here. She got me one just in case. I've used it, I think, a grand total of twice. That's it. I'm not a straw boy. I'll fucking pop that lid off. I don't give
Yeah,
a
most of the
fuck.
time
I'm a
I'm
big
just
straw gal. I really
Yeah.
am.
Why? I
Because
don't get it.
Lipstick, dude.
Put my and my teeth.
Oh.
And I don't want to stain the front of my teeth. I'd rather stain the back of my teeth, to be honest.
Same.
That's really what it is. So I just put that straw right in the well.
I'm a
Straw
guzzler.
culture is weird to me. I'm just like, give me a cup. Give me
Yeah.
a cup.
all
Motherfucker,
about
God
the
made a
tea.
lip
But I
on the
do
cup.
make sure to
Motherfucker, I'm
cut
gonna
our
use it.
6-pack rings.
Yeah, right.
I do that.
Nice.
You cut the as you go through.
I do my part for the sea turtles.
That's a habit I got into big time. I used to pull them out of the waist at Nike and like cut them. While I was-
Oh.
Yeah. I was a recycling coordinator. If people didn't see me doing shit like that, it'd be a bad look. It was all part of it, It's all saving face to climb the corporate ladder.
But so like,
And our whole group still got outsourced.
but like, how does this like Lions get his beer anyway? Like, is there like an animal grocery store that's just like there?
Oh yeah, good. There's a lot of questions here. That's
Yeah,
Well,
part
but
of
if-
their society.
Yeah, like I
they're
want to
they're
know more about
enslaved
this society. Yeah.
But if Siegfried and Roy are bringing them TVs, like, so I never asked this question watching it the whole time. I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. They all have houses. They all have appliances. This is our world. I'm not asking questions about how he gets his beer. He goes to the store like anybody else. They have a bar. It's fine. It's fine. They probably have some animal that drives like freight trucks that like a little Budweiser
I was
buzzer.
gonna say like the Guinness truck
Yep.
comes in.
Yep. Or maybe it's like a little Irish animal pops out, like a little ginger sheep
A
or
little
some
fox.
shit.
Yeah.
Pops out, fucking serves them their beer. I like that. Not a question I ask. Honestly, didn't think of it twice. I was like, sure, perfect,
And money? Do they use money?
dude.
I guess maybe. I don't know.
They go to the bar.
And the other thing that gets discussed a lot too, that I found very interesting, and this guy got brought up a couple of times, particularly in the episode where they fuck up the zebra rug. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The zebra rug.
Right. You know, and then they find that zebra that was Richard Kind.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have no family. Oh, he has no family. Nobody would ever miss me if I ever went missing. Good to know. And the grandpa knows that it's gone. This is my favorite moment when those two, played by John DiMaggio, the two warthogs, were John DiMaggio.
They had a funny name to them. And I don't remember what it was.
They did, and I can't either right now. Hang on, I'm getting on the IMDb. But the best part of it was when Grandpa just starts beating the zebra. He just starts hitting him, and then what's his nut starts coughing. Like every time, Larry just starts coughing. So good, so good.
So that's the thing too, because it was like, you know, they're friends with a lot of these animals, but then at times they would also then like become real lions. Like Larry talks about eating their dog at one point. He was like, I thought he went to a farm.
Oh, eating their dog, eating their maid at one point.
Yeah.
He also ate their maid.
There was the women's thing that the mom was a part of. And then they're like, here, we're going to do the rabbit hunt or whatever. And then she chases down the rabbit. And they're like, all right, rabbit, you can come out. You know, you could play in your part. And then the mom was like, oh, yeah, the rabbit left. She's not here anymore. Like, clearly just hunted and just ate this rabbit.
You talk about eating his friend's snack a few times, too. Like, his friend, remember he, like, drugged his grandpa or whatever with the meatballs? And Snack ate them all, and he's like, I could just deep fry this guy and put him in cheese.
Yeah. And he eats
like, that's your best friend. He's like, not best friend.
And he pretended to eat his girlfriend, too.
The warthogs were the Snout brothers.
That was a
Snout
lie.
Brothers. There you go.
Yeah. But he lied and said he ate the girlfriend, so that way Snack wouldn't get upset, but he didn't actually eat her. But he was like, I ate her.
Still, that option's there. It's just crazy to me that these people, like, you know, like these animals have this like normal society, but also the lion still might eat you at some point.
Yeah, true.
But okay, I would argue that is normal for a lion.
Sure.
That's normal society for a lion, bro. Like you're picking human rules for animals that have been humanized. You dig what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It confuses me.
No, there's no confusion. They are animals that have some human rules. The show is unclear about those, but it doesn't matter. Because they are animals with some human rules. That's as
I guess
deep
that's
as you
the
can
day.
go in.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
They're animals that also like to watch Bill Murray marathons and drink beer.
Oh, okay. When they start singing oldies, like first off, when he was watching his daughter's home videos and Wayward Son is playing,
He just cut his own like song to it. He just cut "Carry On My Wayward Son" to the.
What is going on? Him and his dad sing, "Whoa, whoa." in tears.
I love it when she
that.
so she gets mad and she storms off, and then he like plays the video for a second just to get like the 1 second guitar riff. You know, he can just like air guitar for a second.
And then there's the whole episode about his anniversary being on Jimi Hendrix's birthday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
He forgets about it. Yeah.
dude, like the way the show is steeped.
Like that to me is the most sitcom-y trope. It was like, oh, you forgot my anniversary. You know, it's always like the dude's always forgetting.
There is so much classic sitcom in this, I also think that's why it plays as well as it did. If this show was cheaper to make, and maybe slightly better writers, it could have had a long shelf life if they'd stuck to that. It could have had. Maybe if Roy hadn't got bit by that one thing, maybe if he didn't have that stroke and that tiger saved him.
I guess this is, it's funny. I was looking up shit on IMDb, and Daniel Harris, obviously we talked about her being in the show. So like before this, it's like if you look at her IMDb, it's a weird like you see where her child acting days are. Then there's like a point like whenever Wild Thornberrys came out to about this show where she's literally did all this voice acting, and this show is like the last. Like it goes from this show as her voice acting role to then now then Halloween and then back to like indie horror movies forever. And it's like this show is like this weird nail in the coffin for I guess her voice acting
her voice acting.
That's
She's
interesting.
just like, fuck this.
Wow.
She's great in it, though.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
She really is.
I don't know. There was a lot in this that I thought was tremendous, man. I did. I genuinely
This show
did.
came out of total left field for me. Like the most left field that you can possibly come out of. Like,
Yeah.
Not what I thought this show was going to.
Completely.
No, and weirdly, I thought it was going to be more sort of about the daughter character with everybody else back in the back. With the dad maybe playing a bit more of a role because the notion of father of the pride being either it's about the kids, it's about just strictly the family, and I didn't think they were necessarily going to dip as far into the animal culture that they did.
They got
You know
great
what I
use
mean?
out of John Goodman.
Oh,
Yeah.
He sings the theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
well,
Yeah. That's
was
true.
this not like John Goodman's peak Blues Brother era as well?
Yeah.
This is because there was a point in time where, God, it was so Blues Brothers, Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, right? John Belushi.
John Belushi,
originally.
not Jim
John
Belushi. No.
Well, this is what I'm getting to. Then it became Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, and John Goodman for a hot minute.
Yeah.
In Blues Brothers 2000. And then if that was Blues Brothers 2000, then this is only like 4 years beyond that. Holy shit. Okay.
And now we're getting our John Goodman Renaissance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with
Righteous Gemstones.
Yes. So
Well, and have you seen his turn in the new seasons of The Connors? What used to be Roseanne?
good. No, I haven't watched
Yeah.
the newer.
Oh. When they killed her, because of the shit that she said or whatever. Again, I don't think you should just whatever. Okay, people can say what they want to. You don't have to get behind them. Let everybody say what they want to. I don't think their job should necessarily go away all the time. Because if that's the case, we would never have factories and nothing would ever get made. Just saying. Because some of them people be saying shit. But like, when John Goodman took sort of the role of like the patriarch as everything died and Roseanne left, I will say this, her leaving that show, when they revived it, they actually never should have brought her back. And not because of what she said, but it's a more compelling show. And John
Agreed.
Goodman is fucking exceptional. Exceptional in that role as Dan Connor. He's funnier. He's better. It's a wonderful story. It's interesting.
And Peggy's in it, right? That's like his girl in the show.
His new boo.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Katie Seagal.
Yeah.
Now, Katie Seagal, you put in everything, and I don't care what she says.
I'm surprised she's not in this, to be honest.
She could say the earth was flat and like Donald Trump was king. I don't care what she says. Katie Seagal can say everything, and she can be in everything forever.
Yeah, you gotta love
forever.
Katie. I'm surprised she's not in this, honestly. It seems like a spot somewhere would be in here.
She's doing her Kurt Sutter thing right now, and I'm sure whatever he's got something he's cooking up right now that's past Sons of Anarchy. That's beyond the Mayans into something else, and I think she's going to be involved in that, right?
I believe so.
I've been following them on Instagram, just waiting, and I just like to see her with the dogs. I get so tickled. I'm like, what a lovely family.
So Katie Seagal, there's like basically, like, I don't know. There's something about like, and I came to Michelle Gomez a lot later because of Doctor Who, right? She played Missy, like the Lady Master. But there's something about like ladies in their like mid to late 50s to like early 60s that I don't know. I get a kick out of. I really get a kick out of some of them. Some of them are cool. Like some of them are cool ladies. And Michelle Gomez and Katie Seagal can do no wrong, in my opinion.
I can agree.
Just saying.
I can agree.
Yeah. And Michelle Gomez is rowdy as fuck. Do you follow her Insta?
I don't, but I should.
You should. Rowdy.
I should.
Rowdy lady.
Well, this show's pretty rowdy.
Show's one of the horniest things I've ever seen.
Definitely one of the horniest things. Like I said, it literally opens up when he goes, it's mountain time.
Yeah, that's funny too.
Animals are horny.
Animals
True,
are
I guess
horny.
they gotta do what they gotta do.
And I do like the pilot, but the whole thing with the pandas, because it's just like, yeah, pandas are going extinct because they're too lazy to fuck, and they just don't want to fuck.
It just ends on such a horrible, like you basically you gotta settle. It's
Both
how Carl Reiner gives it to Andy Richter in that, like, you just gotta settle. You suck, and this is what you get.
And then it goes to Fu Ling, and she was like, "Don't I deserve love?" And he goes, "No, you deserve Nelson."
You deserve Nelson.
That episode was really funny. That was a really great episode.
Because you were born a panda, you deserve Nelson. But see, that's the other thing. So, and I guess maybe that's the reason why this show could have done better, is because when it does stuff like that, like if you think about it, if you really think about it, it's like, I hate to even bring this up, but it's like when you think about it and what they're doing there, are they saying that settling is good, or are they saying for the animal community, breeding is good? It doesn't matter who you're breeding with, baby. You got to breed. You got to propagate the species.
Especially, in the case of pandas, where they need them to breathe because pandas are going extinct.
These pandas won't fuck.
Yeah.
Pandas don't. And see, that's another great joke. And like, if you think about what you consume, if you think about what you're watching and what you're consuming, and you know that pandas aren't breeding in captivity, this show tells you that pandas find lionesses attractive. No wonder they're not fucking. They're horny for lions.
Yeah, I guess the messages of these episodes are definitely the ones that are like hard to follow what they're really trying to say.
Bro, it's so clear. So clear to me. Pandas don't want to fuck other pandas because they want to fuck lions.
But there's also in that same episode, they never bring it back up either in the show, by the way. But with the elephant, apparently is also like dating, or he's living with the turkey that they talk about in the first episode. He goes, no, it's my roommate. It's my roommate, I swear. You know, and then they talk about
Sure
sharing a
is.
bed and like, you know, cooking each other's meals. But like, they never brought it back up again. I wish we like found out more about that turkey panda relationship.
Well, you find out about gay rabbits later on.
We do,
Two of the
yeah.
rabbits are like, and so like as far as that
And the gay
goes,
chipmunks too, the two lady chipmunks that keep making out.
it, like this show's progressive in such an interesting way, but then they also
They're
like
not.
sort of allude to it with Siegfried and Roy, but never really do. Like it's weird
I mean,
on the note.
Siegfried bangs that old lady in that one episode.
Granny
Yeah.
runs the Airbnb.
Oh, I love that episode.
They're like, what is
We
this
got-
mom and pop shop doing in Vegas? We can't let
I
this
love
thing-
that they're so like upset about that being the B&B.
Yeah,
Like, what is this?
yeah.
Ugh. This terrible thing, this homey feel in the middle
like
of our
that
beautiful.
episode really made me laugh.
Extravagance.
Like I've
And
never
super driven.
like seen like that kind of flip before, to be honest. Like, you know, like the big people fighting for the big corporation instead of the mom and pop shop. Like that shit was pretty funny. Like I've never seen that
Yeah.
kind of flip.
It was so
Well,
funny.
And again, I think that's. I mean, it's like if you're thinking about it, if you're like, oh, like you just said, that is clever. Okay, I see the flip. The trope would be you want the small business to succeed. This is Stars Hollow. This is one of the Gilmore Girls opening up her little hotel, and then it balloons and gets bigger. We want the little guy to win. What is this terrible thing right where our favorite Applebee's was? There's not even so, and this also blew my mind when they were talking about the things that you would see inside that Applebee's, and they were like, and the what is it, like the African American man roaming around, what is it, like, yeah, roaming around singing songs to people as he goes by, like these weird tropes that I guess were a thing in Vegas. I never went to Vegas in my youth. I have no idea. I've only actually been to the airport. I've never hit the strip. But
Really? For some reason I thought you've been in Vegas for some
nah,
reason.
just the airport, man. I pulled arms on a slot machine in the airport, and that's the closest I've come. Jen's been to Vegas a couple of times.
Yeah, Vegas sucks. Fuck Vegas.
Yeah, fuck Vegas. Why? I don't know. All I
I
know
think
is
it's fun.
my luck.
It's
I would
fun
end
if
up
you just want to
fucking-
just spend a lot of fucking money. And
I would get too drunk, get accosted by strippers, and it would be a bad night for me. That's
yeah,
all I
tell me
know.
about it.
That's all I know, James. That's what would happen to me. It's what my friends tell me anyway. Is what lay ahead for me in Vegas.
It's a very easy hill to fall down.
But like it, in that too, if you're thinking about like the note that it plays on consumerism too, and what it's really trying to say at that point, like I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever.
It was
I-
like Vegas thanks you today for your service.
But it was so bizarre because when they do go into it after the change is made and you do see the black guy roaming around singing songs, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Again, what are they doing? I don't understand it.
All right, well,
It's compelling.
I'm gonna start rolling this show out.
I mean, you have to. This show is full of weirdness. Weird stereotypes, weird whatever. Like, it's oddly progressive, but it's also oddly like tied to the past. I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm gonna start with you, Ben. What are you gonna give this show? What are your final thoughts here?
Massive success. It comes out of left field. It comes so far out of left field. Success. Success. Whatever you think you're gonna get with this show, you're gonna get more.
Yeah.
You're gonna get something else. Not what you will think it will be. Put yourself in a good mindset before you watch it. just to understand that for a kid in 2023, there might be some weird things for you in here. There really might be. You might get uncomfortable, but I think it's fun. I don't think it was intended to really hurt. I think a little bit more direction, and it could have been like a real home run. Like, but on
That's
the
an
whole,
interesting point.
this was a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a good point. A little more, like a better direction, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually don't think it was like as offensive as I guess some of these jokes are, or even some of the people in it. I don't think it was ever meant to be mean in any way.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't think that was ever their intention. I just think they just need to be written better.
It doesn't feel
but-
malicious
Yeah.
at all.
nothing
No.
about the show feels malicious.
Mm-mm.
It weirdly feels like it wants to be more of a celebration than it is, and I think it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you, Liz, what are you giving the show? What are your final thoughts?
Definitely a success.
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 I had
Every time I hear
a
that.
lot more fun watching this than I thought I would. I am not, so I'm going to sound like a big downer, but I'm not a DreamWorks person. I'm not a Shrek person. I'm not a Kung Fu Panda person. I love Jack Black, but I can't handle most of that stuff. Like it's just so goofy to me that I can't handle it. And this did it for me. Like it was such a different tone in that weird adult line, straddling that line of adult and offensive and not going over the top and not making a farce of itself. Like it didn't go over in that Trey Parker area, which I love that area, but it didn't go there. It just kind of straddled that line, and it also worked in that straddling that weird sitcom warm family story line most of the time. So I really appreciated this. I'm glad that Nicole had us watch this one for her last show because I really liked it.
Success.
Yay.
Success.
Nicole, what are your final thoughts? What is your final review ever? What are you giving the show? What do you got to
Wow,
say?
I
And what do you
do-
got to
I
say
do
about your
get-
last episode? You give us some more. Throw out some more shit.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I do give it a success. I think it's so good.
Success.
I think it's like crazy how far under the radar it kind of has flown. Like I said earlier, I really kind of was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like the most ridiculous thing ever. Like a Furby Island, Ewoks. Like it's gonna be just like so out there, and it wasn't. It's quite well written. The episode with Donkey was great. I was like, oh my god, they actually couldn't have made a better episode if they tried. Like that was just like nail on the head. It was so good. Siegfried and Roy, yeah, like I noticed that they executive produced it while I was watching the credits. I was just like, wow, they actually had like a bit of a hand in this. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, John Goodman, what's her name? Cheryl Hines.
Yeah, Cheryl.
Stacked from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Stacked cast. Like, it almost makes you scratch your head a little bit and be like, wow, like, what did go so wrong? I mean, there really could be so many factors, but like, I also don't like know factually too, right? Like, I guess I could Google it and read about it.
I mean, my
don't know
theory
right
would
now.
be money, marketing, and viewership. Like those three things, all probably just added up.
Yeah, what a shame, I guess.
And- It also literally says that transmission of it and production were both delayed by Roy's real life injury. So that also was sort of the
Yeah,
kiss
and
of
I
death.
can imagine it being hard to promote a show about these guys owning all these big cats when one of the big cats literally just almost killed them.
Yeah.
Wow,
You know
yeah,
what I
that'll
say?
do it.
Bro,
Little
flip
kiss
it,
of death.
flip it, reverse it, own it,
I
make
mean, they
it yours.
tried.
That's
Clearly,
the
they
season
tried.
2 premiere.
Oh,
That's the season 2 premiere.
Damn. Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine Larry coming home to the granddad and his family being like, I had a bad day. I bet I didn't know what I was doing. I was so confused. And then granddad is like, 15 years. I never once bit him. I wanted to every day. I'm proud of you, boy. You know what I mean?
You took a bullet for the rest of us, yeah.
It could have been a great idea. You did the one thing I always wanted to do. I always wanted to take a chunk out of him. And then the rest of the episode, Larry's dealing with remorse, but every time the granddad sees him, had a taste. You know what I mean?
Just
Like,
had it taste.
had
Had
a
a
taste.
taste.
It was good.
Oh my god.
Right? Tell me it was good. I know it was good.
So funny. Yeah, the show is, I'm really happy we watched this. The show is nuts in a good way. I think people should watch it.
So
It's a
success.
Success.
You know, yeah, I remember when you first showed me the show. Like I said earlier, totally out of left field. This is Furby Island to me initially. I think even when you first mentioned it, I just for some reason thought it was just some Lion King ripoff. Until like watching it now, and obviously it's completely different. And you know, and also like I watch this kind of show, and the thing that like always I hate people who own big cats. Like I think the thing that people take away from Tiger King is like totally the wrong thing that you should have taken away from that documentary. Of like it has nothing to do with Carol or this Tiger King. It's about these people owning these fucking giant cats. When there's more cats in captivity than in the U.S. than there are in the wild, it blows my fucking mind. Like and so I see this kind of stuff, and no wonder why this fucking guy gets attacked by the lion.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
right? And the same thing when you saw the zookeepers in that Tiger King that got attacked. You know what?
Yeah,
Like, find another job.
literally.
I got
yeah.
one for you. at
Right.
the
Stop
laundromat.
exploiting animals.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a garbage can I'd have paid you to clean out of, today, instead of me tossing it. Threw a whole garbage can away because I ain't cleaning shit. I'll give you $20 to clean it out for 5 minutes. It'll be fine.
And that's what, like, I guess, like, when I think about this show and I'm watching it, is because it's like these people keep trying to domesticate these big cats, and it's like, well, now we can't put them back in the wild, right? Because now they're too used to how they're getting fed, and that's almost what, like, I think about when I see this show of all them sitting around the TV. It's like this is now how they've been like conditioned and bred, even though they have like even when Granddad talks about living in the wild as like as a youngster or whatever. But yeah, I do give it the success though.
Success.
And like I said, it hit me out of left field. The voice acting is amazing. The animation was better than I thought. Like there's actual texture and hair that's like very hard to do, especially like now it's easier with technology, but then like if you see Shrek, if you watch it, they still look like these solid masses because they couldn't really figure out how to do texture as well. And watching this fucking TV show in prime time that's doing it is insanity to me. It's just like
So I'll tell you when I noticed that and noticed it a lot was when Pauly Shore becomes a boyfriend, because I think
yeah.
Danielle Harris, she goes through a couple of guys, right?
Yeah, I remember the episode. Yeah, he plays poker with the granddad.
Yeah.
Do you remember the hyena's tell
No, I don't.
in the game? When the hyena gets a good hand, like all of his hair goes out. It all like just kind of spikes up around his head.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I was like, "Fuck, they can do that."
Yeah.
And then everybody was out in the hand on that one.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like it's just like a ball. Like you see hair and
You see, and you can see it individualized.
so.
And that's also a low key, like a low key banger of an episode, I thought, because I did love the fact that he was lying to the Kate about playing poker in the house around the kids. And then she was like, "Well, you can't tell him I brought my old man over. I'll tell her about your illegal poker games." Also a good trope.
Yeah.
And then low-key honorable mention, the one where Granddad takes the boy to the bar, and he's like, "Oh, that's my cub. This is my cub."
Which is also weird because he's like, "Oh, his parents died," but it's like, there's not that many lions. How does
his mom joined a cult. Remember?
Well,
and then when she comes back, the lady confronts
right.
her.
His mom joins the cult, and his dad was gay and ran over the pastor. I think he said, like a pastor. But still, wouldn't this like lady at the bar, like this Tiger or whatever she was, like know who that kid's dad is? Isn't his dad not the most famous lion right now of this place?
You would think. You would.
Also,
right?
shout out, Stifler's mom, Jennifer Kool-Aid voices that Tiger.
So many great voices in this show.
So,
So
yeah.
many great guests.
So many.
Here
Great
was
show.
who is it? What's his name? Not Dana Carvey. The guy
Dana
that
Gould.
the guy that looks like Dana Carvey but isn't Dana Carvey. Oh my God, he's in Joe
Dana
Dirt.
Gould. There's a Dana Gould that's in there. David
That's
Spade
unbelievable.
was in
Lead of
there.
Joe Dirt.
There's a bunch of them.
David Spade. He's talking about.
David Spade, that's it. David Spade played the hyena in the episode, the desert cat. He was very funny in it.
That was a good episode too. Them kind of getting off the compound. Yeah, this
Yeah.
show, I don't know, it shouldn't be as good as it is. I wish that, like Ben, you said it good earlier, if it had a better direction, and if like the points made more sense, if I understood the message better at the end,
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
think it would have been a lot better. It would have been a 10.
You mean if there was clear message?
Yeah, because I don't get it. But at least it was still funny enough. Like there were moments I actually really laughed out loud a few times.
Oh no, I definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did. And it was usually quickly followed up with like, "What the fuck did I just see?" Or one point in time, it literally was me going like, "They didn't just call them homos, did they? What? What am I listening to?"
When the panda says that's my slave name, like he says it so fast that I went back. I was like, he didn't just say that.
Your ears
Totally
do a
did
shake.
though.
Yeah.
What? No.
All right. Well, Nicole, man, it's been so amazing having you on this journey through us through all these years.
Wow. Thank you. You too. Thanks, James, for inviting me to be on first and foremost back in 2021.
I know.
Crazy.
It's been
Thank
forever.
you.
Think about how much we've all changed, and yeah, it's crazy. We've literally been doing this shit for so long now. And now we got Liz
Yeah.
hanging out with us. It's wild. Let's see where the future takes us next year.
Yeah, it's true. Leo, I'm sure will be in the audience again, and so will I. We'll all be ghosts of ourselves haunting you all forever. So thank you for this great time, everyone.
And then James, speaking of next year, how are we ringing in the new year? What
How-
is going to be the first cartoon that we watch of 2024?
Well, Liz is gonna hate me because you just talked about how much you hate DreamWorks, but I had
Thanks, James.
I had to pick the movie that was my first movie of 2023 last year, even though it came out of December of 2022. I saw it in January. I fucking love this movie. And we haven't talked about it yet. I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, and it's the new Puss in Boots movie.
Okay, so I have seen that.
That movie fucking kicks ass. I have never
That
even
movie
seen.
does kick ass.
I've never even seen the original one, and I remember seeing the trailer for it at first, being like, "What is this dumb movie? Why are we making a sequel to a spin-off that nobody ever cared about to begin with?" And then I don't know. I remember seeing a meme that I got higher reviews on Rotten Tomatoes than Avatar, so I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I just went to go see it one day because I had an hour and a half to kill. And I was-
Harvey Guillen makes that movie.
yeah.
And then you just started crying because I too watched it based solely on your recommendation.
And it's so good. Oh my god, I can't wait to talk about it. And what a way to start the new year to continue this DreamWorks, train we're on.
As long as it's not Kung Fu Panda, we're good.
Now, I want to love Kung Fu. I want to love Kung Fu Panda so badly, and I can't do it. I don't know why I don't get it. It has what I like. I love Kung Fu. I love pandas. I love Jack Black. And it even has Jackie Chan in it, and I still can't.
Same.
I
And
s-
I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't get
it has-
behind it.
But Puss in Boots fucking rules. Nicole,
Hell yeah.
Nicole, you fucking rule. Thank you for doing the show for as long as you have. All right.
And on that note, again, you can always reach us at toonular@gmail.com. Nicole, it has been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. And yeah, we will. I guess we'll see everybody in the new year.
Yeah, off to a new year, a new totally Toonular, a new year. Hopefully, we'll have some big things in the future. We'll get to do some cool shit.
Totally Toonular.
Oh.
Oh,
Nice. There you have it.
there you
That's
go.
a reach.
Yeah, I'm gonna end on
Fucking
that
reach.
one. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Happy New Year. Thank you.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big